I love what this guy said. He said, pursuing litigation, not democracy. This was a judge from America trying to make sure that Trump did not get put off the ballot in a certain state. Now the question is, are we a free country anymore? Because we are now trying to make your decision for you. Instead of you voting for conservative or liberal, instead of you being able to cast a vote, we're going to allow these unelected bureaucrats, like most lawyers and judges are, to decide if you are allowed to cast a vote for someone. Is that what America is all about? Are we setting up for something like a true civil war in 2024? We're now seeing not only Cold War across the world, we're seeing a Cold War here, uncivilized version of people being so polarized that they hate each other. That are we going to see truly another civil war in America? Let's jump into it. Today's video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here. I know this is a very big subject to talk about right here at Christmas, but the reason I want to bring it up is because we're seeing it actually happen. Do you know the last president that was taking off ballots, that was a big concern because of election coming up? It was an opposition party trying to do it. It was Abraham Lincoln. Who was the president prior to the Civil War? It's amazing, the polarization. You know how we talk about, we can see how the Depression is kind of starting here because we look back to times like 1929 and times before that event happened, and the kind of the similarities there. Now let's talk about the Civil War and how the polarization of different sides, how polarized and how dangerous it was during that time. To where now we're feeling the same comparison. Remember the Cold War, now we're seeing the comparison here with Russia again and China. So we're seeing that time where the comparisons with bad historical times in our American history, to where now we're having to compare them to, hey, it's a lot of similarities going along. This is what breaks my heart, is that when we don't truly learn education and educate ourselves, not only common sense and wisdom, but when we don't educate ourselves on the history of what has happened in our nation, then we miss it, and then we don't learn from it, and then we start making the same mistakes again. When you look at old civilizations and how they fell, such as the Roman Empire, and again, I'm a Christian, so I look at everything in a biblical perspective, that God allows us to see things, to learn from them, like Joseph and prepping for the time of Israelites in Egypt. But then I look at things like the Roman Empire. A lot of it failed because it imploded. It caused the damage to itself. Well, you thought we would have learned that, and then of course, then the Civil War after we got freedom and liberty, and then you have the Civil War and everybody's fighting each other. You thought we would learn from there. So now we're seeing that same thing again in 2023, 2024, where we're so polarized. We haven't learned from history to where America's shining light, America's strength was always in our borders, and the fact that we were safe over here, the fact that we had freedom, liberty, and the fact that even though we may disagree with some things, we were not so polarized to where we would see infighting again and implosion again. I love this quote from Abraham Lincoln. It says, "America will never be destroyed from the outside." Well, you know, we talk about the Cold War and hot wars across the world. But it says, if we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. That is so true, and that should speak volumes to us now. It doesn't matter if you like Trump. It doesn't even matter if you like Biden. It's not someone's decision that is not ourselves, us as the populace, to decide who we want to vote for. It should not be up to bureaucrats, to a jury or a lawyer or litigation or the interpretation if this guy is fit to serve. If whomever is winning in the polls and if whomever is on the ballot, it should be me voting for whom I want to vote for. Same for you. It doesn't matter if we agree on that, but it should be our right and our freedom. It's amazing that we are now saying that we're not going to allow someone to be on the ballot, especially when they are the leader of the opposition party. And not only that, they're winning by wide margins. It does not matter if you like him or not. It's not some group of individuals to take it away from American people. But see, we cause implosion for ourselves. For instance, cartoons like Sesame Street are talking about indoctrinating your children and talking about how polarized our nation is based on race. Come on, it's ridiculous. Coco Melon doing the same thing on Netflix. That's on the left. Of course, the right, same way. We polarize ourselves to a point where we get so mad and we get so fearful that we start to hate each other, and that's not what America is about. I hope and pray more than anything, as someone who is a Christian, who wants to take care of his family, who wants to see his kids grow up in a great place, a free place, in a place that they can raise their own families and love God. It's sad to see where we're at. And I hope that we will come back to normalcy. I hope we'll have revival. I hope we'll have repentance. And I hope we will quit allowing media and psyops and propaganda to divide us. Because like Abraham Lincoln did say, we're allowing our own selves to cause the issues, to lose our own freedoms. We are committing our own problem. We're the ones causing the problem. It's like the border. That's a big problem. It's open and we're allowing people to pour in and no telling what kind of damage that's going to cause. But more than just the border, the sad thing is we're fighting over that. We're fighting over a sovereign border. We have one party who says they don't want a sovereign border. Help me understand, what's the point in America then? We are going to see harder times in 24, all because we're allowing manipulation from our media and from bureaucrats to guide us and cause issues and mischief, so therefore it allows them to have a little bit more of a ruling thumb. Remember, when chaos happens, more regulation happens. When chaos happens, more law is needed. When chaos happens, it allows them to have more control and power. Remember, focus on history and focus on what really taxes do, what regulation does, what control is, and the propaganda and the psyop of media. That's what's going to cause our failing. We're going to see a civil war? I sure hope not. But if we keep saying that people can take people off the ballot and not give freedoms to vote anymore, and we keep saying that that's okay, and we just grin and bear it because, hey, there's somebody else like a DeSantis or Vivek coming up, or not for me, but Haley, same way with Biden, he needs to get out. He's too old and too senile, but if they keep putting him in the power, we can't help that. But if he is on the ballot, he should be able to be voted for. But instead, you're going to see something like a Newsom Haley get pushed in there because Trump and Biden's going to have so many problems. And basically what that means is you didn't have a say in elections. And that is going to cause catastrophic events for 2024. So I'll be honest with you, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we don't see anything like that. But as someone who tries to look to what's coming up, I think it's wise for us to be smart and make sure we're doing all we can to get good knowledge and seek true wisdom and a common sense approach to say this is not too smart. The reason I talk on this is not for anything other than I just want to influence and impact people to do their own research and to start thinking for themselves. Don't think like I think. Don't think like the next media guy thinks. Don't think like the news person tells you. Think for yourself. That's my goal for you. Think for yourself. And of course, keep your eyes really on what's important. And that's our relationship with Christ, because that is the only true way that you'll find peace, joy, and hope. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned something from this rant. It's not about, do I want to see a civil war? It's not even about Trump or Biden. It's about the fact that the more chaos that ensues, the more control and regulation that happens. God bless. Happy homestead, y'all.